Yo, so this is going to be part two of my reaction video to the Officer Tatum expose video of Daunte Wright. So let's keep going with that.
You're a law-abiding citizen. You're not going to get this outcome.
What I was saying before the last video was cut off was that you can, because he said that leading that type of life will only lead you to three directions, but that's not true. So, I mean, many people can turn their lives around after committing crimes and being in gangs and this, that, and the third. So, you know, that's just straight up bullshit. All right, so let's keep going.
If you're acting up and you're selling dope and robbing people and doing all this other stuff, which I'm going to show you, with your pants sagging and guns slanging and talking about guns and money and all this stuff, your 2 + 2 is going to equal 4, meaning that you're going to either go to jail or hell.
Oh, I'll talk about that in a minute.
One of the two is going to happen. That's what my grandmother used to say. But without further ado, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, because I think it's invaluable for people to understand who this kid really was. So this is obviously be available for you on the Tatum report. The link will be in the description section. However, these are the court documents that are proving that this young man was leading a life of crime. So why did he have a warrant? Because at the time he had a warrant. Some people, they're not going to tell you that in the mainstream media. They're going to tell you they put him over because he had an air freshener on his window. But that's not why they put him over. They put him over because he had expired registration, or you could say expired tags, meaning that he wasn't taking care of his business and using his money to pay for things to handle his registration on his vehicle. So he had expired registration on the vehicle. They pulled him over. They got his identification. The body worn camera actually.
Now, we know what I feel about vehicle registration and shit like that. It's just another way to extort money from the people and fill their coffers. That's really why they do that. But, you know, they tell you for, you know, this, that, and the third reason they can, you know, determine who was in what accident, who's committing what crime, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, it just makes it easier for them to commit tyranny. That's just the bottom line to it, you know. There's many arguments for or against vehicle registration and all that other shit, but, you know, hey, it's just another form of control, period. So having expired tags just gives the state the right, or what they think is the right, to pull you over, to harass you, to force you to have a conversation with them. All this bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Like, it should be easier for people to live free, not for the police to do what they want with you. You know what I'm saying? So
it starts when they're walking back to the car after they decided that they were going to take him into custody pending a warrant. Mr. Tatum, what was the warrant for? He had a felony warrant out for his arrest for first-degree attempted aggravated robbery. Now, why is it aggravated? Now, there's two factors that make robbery aggravated. One is if you use a firearm. The other, if you have an accomplice. So him and another guy decided to rob a woman at gunpoint for $800 and some, put a gun to her head and said, look, give me the money, give me the effing money. Luckily she screamed and made him leave her house, which they had attended. I think it was like a house party or something of that nature. You'll see it here in the context here, in the court documents. I mean, I could just read a few of it. I just read a little bit of it. It says the victim reported that she was at the above listed residence with her female roommates. Her roommates were there. They were witnessing to this stuff. They're talking about their relationship with Mr. Wright. They talk about what he did here in the affidavit. Then it goes on to talk about the victim and their involvement with him and what he actually did. Okay, you can go and read this for yourself at another time. However, this is the lifestyle that he's living. If this is not enough evidence.
Now, what this is, okay, if you go to the Tatum report, I'm not going to tell you to go there or not to go there, but if you go to the Tatum report and you look at this is a statement of probable cause, okay? Now, this is not a conviction. Let's get that straight. Last time I checked, it was still supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to gather evidence and all this other shit and prove your case in court. So it's behooved of the prosecutor, right, and the investigators and the police to prove that he actually did this and to gain a conviction. So, yes, there was a warrant out for his arrest for this alleged crime, but it has not been proven in court. It's not a conviction. It's just, this is a statement of probable cause to get the warrant. You understand what I'm saying? So they had to get the warrant based on witness statements probably and this, that, and the third. So to say, you can't say he did that. Number one, Brandon Tatum, you should know that as a police officer. You can't just say he did it. It's alleged. It's not a conviction. There was a warrant out for his arrest. And let me just say this. If he actually did what they said he did in this statement of probable cause, then he's a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? He deserves some form of punishment. But understand that this happened before. It's not like, oh, they were responding to a call where this dude was robbing somebody. Let's just keep that in mind. Let's keep things where it's at. Because once you start using arguments like this, well, back in the day, he did this. Back in the day, he did that. Oh, he had a warrant for his arrest. He pulled off this, that, and the third. None of that gives you the right to kill someone. Not even if you can't say this, he's innocent. You can't say he's not innocent. But if we are able to just kill non-innocent people, then we'd be killing 99% of the world. Like, no one's completely innocent. So to say that this type of stuff, it leads you to do this, no. It can lead to many different directions, not just death or hell, whatever he said. That's what he said it was. Hell or jail or hell. Like, no, that's not the only, no, don't listen to this dude. All right. Well, listen to him. Go ahead and listen to him. But what I'm saying is, look beyond what he's saying, because he's very biased.
That the young man is committing bold, crazy crimes, which led to his arrest, which he's then, after he was arrested, after he had a warrant, failed to participate with the court. So that's how he ended up having an outstanding warrant, because they let him out on bail, $100,000 bail. He can't abide by that. He can't follow the rules after being let out. So they had a warrant for his arrest. Now, here's the thing. After he had been arrested and released, a condition of his release is that he can't be flashing guns around and stuff like that. He ended up being in possession of a gun, which made his charges even greater than they were before. Let's look at this other document or some video evidence, and shout out to Charlie Kirk for posting this. And I know that other people have posted it, but I saw this on Charlie Kirk's page. So shout out to Charlie Kirk for posting this. But here's a video, and it's in slight context of what this kid was doing. This wasn't just your average black kid going to school, doing the right thing. This is what he's doing. This is his lifestyle. This is what leads to your death. Roll the film.
Now, basically what he's showing is a video of Daunte, Wright, holding the gun, listening to music, doing this, waving the gun around, okay? And now, he's saying that this occurred after the conditions of the warrant, or conditions of the bail, saying that he couldn't do this, that, and the third. Again, here is the problem with the justice system in general. You're out on bail, right? But you're still an innocent person, right? You still have to be proven guilty in the court of law. So, according to the Constitution, your rights must be in place, all of them, until you're actually convicted of a crime and serving time in prison or whatever, during which time you have given up your rights and you're essentially a slave. That's a whole nother story. But let's look at that, right? Innocent until proven guilty. Being arrested on a warrant and having a bail hearing is not proof of guilt, okay? So he still has a right to have a gun waving it around. You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality of it. So, but basically what he's saying, that waving guns on a, this is what this is the fallacy of post hoc ergo proctor hoc, meaning this happened because of this. He's basically saying he died because he waved the gun around on screen during a YouTube video, and he's smoking a blunt. All that led to his death. him allegedly robbing a young girl, that led to his death. All these things led to his death because he's not walking the thin path of righteousness that Brandon Tatum seems to know to have the manual to. So let's just understand what we're talking about here. If he robbed that woman, that girl, he's a piece of shit. But we don't know that. We don't know that to be fact. She could be lying. The witnesses could be lying. She could have been mad because he wouldn't give her no weed. And she knows, oh, this nigga carries a gun, blah, blah, blah. So, we don't know. We don't know what's going on yet. We have to wait to see if he's actually guilty of this stuff. You can't just, you know what I'm saying? He should know better than that. So let's keep going.
Got a gun hanging out his pocket like this. In no way, shape, or form is he trying to be in any way a legal and responsible gun owner. And people, let me go back to this real quick. And people are like, oh, he has a Second Amendment right.
He does.
And all this other stuff. I hear people saying that. He got a blunt in his hand.
Wait. So, I want y'all to see this video. I need you to go check out the video. I can't show it right now. My screen recorder doesn't. Y'all see what I'm saying? Y'all understand this? He has Daunte Wright in his video. He has a gun in his hand, right? And a gun in his hand, no finger on the trigger, but he has what looks to be a rolled up smoking apparatus. We don't know if it's weed in there or tobacco. You see how he's making this assumption? He's making an assumption that it's a blunt. Or technically it is a blunt. But what does this blunt have in it? It could have peyote. It could have tobacco. It could have parsley. We don't know what's in that motherfucking blunt. He's assuming that he's smoking a blunt and holding a gun at the same time. Right? That's what he's doing. So he's saying because he's doing that, he doesn't have a right to carry a firearm. You see, these people, when it suits them, they shape the narrative to suit what they want people to believe and what they believe. He believes that Daunte Wright deserved to die, so he's going to bring you anything he can to justify it in your mind and in his mind. So he's saying that firearm, you can't have a firearm and a smoking device. You can't be smoking and having a firearm at the same time. Since when? Understand, we don't know what's in this blunt. He thinks he knows what's in this blunt. He don't know. He's just making assumptions. He's making an ass out of you and me. That's what he's doing with this assumption of the blunt. Oh, what's in the blunt? Let's keep going. He goes on with the foolishness.
I don't believe marijuana is legal in Minneapolis.
You see, he said marijuana, right? He's assuming this is marijuana. He don't know if it's marijuana. He don't know if it's marijuana or tobacco in here, just like I said. Now, let's see. Let's see if weed is legal. Let's see if weed is legal in the state of Minnesota. Let's see. There's marijuana legal in Minnesota, and I believe it is. All right, so Minnesota, is weed legal in Minnesota? In Minnesota, marijuana is legal for medical purposes only, and only in certain forms. Adult use or recreational marijuana is not legal. Okay. So it's legal medically. So did he do his due diligence? Did he do his due diligence to find out if, Daunte Wright, do you know whether or not he has a medical marijuana license or no? And I know that in some states, if you have a medical marijuana license, like in California, if you have a medical marijuana license, well, before it was recreational illegal, you couldn't own a firearm or something bullshit like that. At the end of the day, it shall not be infringed, right? To these people, it only when it suits people like Brandon Tatum, ABL, Stephen Crowder, and all these conservatives, shall not be infringed only applies when they want it to apply. But when it comes to black boys being killed by the police, well, your rights to keep and bear arms shall be infringed. Again, innocent till proven guilty. We don't know what's in this blunt, and we don't know if there is the weed. We don't know if he has a medical marijuana license. We don't know. We're just assuming, right?
I don't believe marijuana is legal there. And he have a gun. When you have illegal drugs with a gun, that's not, you're not following your constitutional right to carry a firearm. Also, in many states across the country, and
what kind of foolishness is that? Where in the Constitution does it say you don't have the right to keep and bear arms if you have drugs? Where does it say that in the Constitution? It says the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It doesn't say shall not be infringed unless you smoke marijuana or coke. It doesn't say that.
To verify the laws in Minneapolis, many states across the country, you got to be 21 years old to have a handgun. You can have a shotgun, you can have a rifle at 18, but you got to be 20.
So now the infringement's okay, right? Oh, you got to be 21 to like, come on. When it came, did he say that same shit? When it came to old boy from Kenosha, what's his name? Kyle Rittenhouse, who crossed state lines with the firearm, with the rifle, blah, 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 at the age of 17. Did he say something about that then? Did any of these cats say that it was wrong for Kyle Rittenhouse to carry a firearm at the age he wasn't supposed to be carrying it when he killed two people? No, they didn't. It was okay for Kyle Rittenhouse because the Second Amendment shall not be infringed. But it's not okay for Daunte Wright. Why? Because they need for it not to be okay to paint a picture that this young man deserved to die.
21 years old to have a handgun. He is not 21. He died at the age of 20. He got a blunt in his hand and a handgun. This is not Second Amendment. This is not doing what's right. This is doing everything
that is
wrong.
Second Amendment shall not be infringed. He's not convicted. He's not, you know what I'm saying? Innocent until proven guilty. You need a conviction to say that. You need a conviction to say that you don't have the right, blah, 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 of an actual crime. You know, if you want to stick to the laws in Constitution, you know what I'm saying? If they were really real about it and we didn't need a Constitution to exercise our rights, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it anyway. You know what I'm saying? The fact that marijuana is illegal or any drug is illegal is unconstitutional. Anything like that. Any prohibition of anything that you can use for yourself, as long as you're not using it to harm someone else, that's unconstitutional. That's an infringement on your rights. But not for Daunte, because, you know, he got murdered. He got killed by the police, and so therefore we need to justify it.
To end up getting yourself trapped in something that is going to lead you to your demise. Let's keep watching it. So, I don't know if you can see it, but he has Hennessy in his hand, alcohol, gun in his pocket, blunt in his mouth. This is not a responsible young man. This is not a young man that's just going to school, trying to live his life. He has a 2-year-old daughter. He's just trying to survive out here in these streets as a black man in America. This is not it. When you live in this gangster life.
And see, when these instances occur, when the police kill people, black people who are unarmed or something like that, and no immediate threat to the police officer, this is why we can't keep saying this, because he was black and his racial shit. No, we have to stick to the facts. This human being killed another human being unjustly. That's all we need to say, because when you bring race into it, right? Even if we know it is racial or racist, even if we find out later on down the road, yo, this chick has some racist text messages or whatever the case may be, until that's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, we have to stick to the real facts. But when you bring race into it, it gives them the ammunition. It muddies the waters, okay? It brings the attention to, you want to say it's because it's black and blah, blah, blah. Like, this is what these people do all the time. And they bring up the stats. Y'all know what stats I'm talking about. The stats that they decide to trust the FBI on when they don't trust the FBI on other shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just the pure hypocrisy of this whole situation. And people don't call these cats out. I call them out because they need to be called out. But I'm not big enough of a channel. It's just a reality of it. So until I reach a level where, okay, they don't feel like they have to punch down too much, you know, maybe we can make something happen. But, you know, I implore you people, if you agree with me, reach out to these people, man. Let them know, like, look, good luck. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm always going to be out here making sure that people have some integrity, you know, or something, man. Come on, man, because this is complete hypocritical bullshit. Gun in his pocket, Hennessy, and I mean, come on. I'm pretty sure people out there, you know, they might sip a little something. They might go to the desert for a weekend to do some shooting, shoot some rabbits, and then wait for the cougars to come down at night and shoot the cougars or whatever. They might be sipping a little something too. And now, since when is having a gun in your pocket automatically irresponsible? You see what I'm saying? Like, come on. Stay consistent. Be consistent with your bullshit.
You see, he wasn't listening to Kurt Franklin and listening to Kerry Job and listening to Christian gospel music or R&B music. Or he wasn't listening. He listened to this gangster rap stuff that's telling.
Now, hold on.
To go out and thug and kill and shoot people all day.
Okay, so look. If you're not listening to gospel music, then you don't deserve to live to survive a police encounter. Is that what he's saying? I mean, I'm not trying to present no fallacies here, but everything he's saying is leading toward Daunte Wright being justifiably killed. Everything he's saying, he's building a stack, right? He's building a stack against him in order to make that happen. In order to get people to understand, look, we need to justify this shooting in the eyes of the law, in the court of public opinion. So now we're going to say that he wasn't listening to gospel music. He had a gun in his pocket. He's smoking what appears to be a blunt. We don't know what it is, but we're just going to assume it's marijuana. He had a Hennessy bottle in his hand. Didn't see him drinking a Hennessy. He just had a Hennessy bottle in his hand. So we're making all these assumptions. We don't know. Do you know if he was drinking a Hennessy? Do we know that he was smoking marijuana? All we saw was the handle of the firearm poking out of his pocket. Do we know if it's loaded? What do we know about this firearm? Is the barrel bent? We don't know shit. We're just making assumptions.
And what does he do? He's living out the legacy of what he's listening to.
Oh, and not only that,
gun in his mouth.
No, hold on. Let's talk about the gangster music, right? This is a man who just a few days ago did a video about DMX and talked about how DMX was one of his favorite rappers. DMX has plenty of music about robbing, stealing, killing, about the life he lived growing up. So now all of a sudden, when it comes to Daunte Wright, listening to that type of music is horrific. But DMX is one of your favorite rappers. You didn't say was, you said is. You knew the lyrics to his songs and all that shit. So come on, man. Come on. Am I the only one seeing this?
Gun hanging out his pocket, which looked like it'd be a different gun than he had before.
Oh no, a different gun. Ooh.
This is a level of irresponsibility that's beyond the scope of reasonableness, in my personal opinion. Now, are you shocked that he robbed somebody? Are you surprised that he robbed somebody? Now his mama and them know.
So every time I see somebody doing a video where they have a gun in their hand, they might be drinking or smoking or something, I should be like, yo, I won't be surprised if he robs somebody. So when I watch Demolition Ranch, right? When I watch, Guns and Gadgets, when he does reviews, when I watch when they pick up a gun and start shooting, I should assume that they gonna rob somebody one day? I shouldn't be surprised. Is it irresponsible to drink and shoot at the same time? At the range, you know what I'm saying? Around other people? Yes, but he wasn't at the range. He wasn't shooting a firearm. He wasn't firing. He just had it in his pocket. Anyway, we're making assumptions on Daunte Wright because he's black and he grew up in the inner city and he has guns and he has Hennessy bottles, which is the staple drink of the black folk, right? But we're race baiters, right? People are race baiters when they bring up obvious systematic racism. They're race baiters, this, that, and the third. But no, not in this case.
That this is his character. They know that this kid acts like this, but they get on TV and cry and say, my innocent little boy. The media say he only had an air freshener, and they don't even talk about the fact he has a warrant. They don't even talk about what his warrant is for. And they want you to believe that your innocent child.
So whether or not your child is innocent, you shouldn't be crying when they die. So if you know your child is smoking a blunt and has a gun and has a Hennessy bottle in his hand and does videos with guns and shit, like we shouldn't be sad when they pass away. What are we saying here? Huh? So they have to. You can't. Don't hold a gun in a video. Don't hold alcohol. Don't be smoking or nothing. Listen to Kirk Franklin and all these other cats that he talking about the gospel music. So that's the only child that should get some sympathy and empathy from their parents when they pass away. Okay, I got you.
Is going to school with his backpack on, it's just gonna get smoked by the police because they're too incompetent and they fear they just afraid of black men. Well, no, they're probably afraid because you just had a warrant for aggravated.
You see what he's doing here? They're afraid of black men. When you use that, the cop killed the guy because they're racist argument, then this is what they do. The attention then becomes their argument then becomes, oh, black people ain't just being hunted down. And that's where the focus is at. Instead of the focus being on police culture in general for everybody in this country, it's going to be focused on how the police culture on the black community. It muddies the water and people who don't relate to the black struggle, that gives them the reason or the out. That gives them the capability of turning the blind eye to what's really going on. And what's really going on is police terrorism is running rampant in this country for everyone, period. Not just black people, everyone. Is there disparity is there a huge difference? Yeah, absolutely. But this is ridiculous.
Robbery where you and another guy put a gun on a woman and try to rob her for money. And then you're violating your bail, and you're in YouTube videos with guns and money. And like, you are hiding your suspicion when they see the warrant for your arrest involving dangerous weapons, a gun, and then they get to you, you resist arrest and try to drive off. Now, there's no excuse in my personal opinion for grabbing a gun instead of a taser. I mean, you have to be completely incompetent. I was a cop, man. There's no way I would have mistaken the two.
Thank you. I much props to him for saying that, for him pointing that out. I'm glad he said that. Okay, that's probably the most objective thing he said about this whole thing.
They're on two different sides of your belt. However, the stressful situation is caused by little Daunte over here thugging and doing all this nefarious stuff. That somebody.
So as he says that, he goes back to the video of Daunte, a still picture of the video. So I'm pretty sure. Okay, so they might have saw the felony arrest with the evolving firearms when they pulled his ID or whatever, when they pulled the information. Now, but that she didn't see any of this. She didn't see the video of him waving a gun and all this other shit. Yes, it might heighten her suspicions or heighten their senses or heighten their awareness a little bit. But you still, as a professional trained to be a police officer, you should have some decorum and some level of knowledge and coolness about you. 26 years on the force. You had 26 years on the force. So there's no excuse. Okay, just because someone has a warrant for their arrest doesn't give you carte blanche to start pulling out and banging out on them. It just does not. It does not give you carte blanche, especially if they're not whipping it out on you. So to be surprised or to have this like, oh my God, a criminal is trying to run away, or a human being, like even someone who's innocent, someone who's not a criminal, if they come into an encounter with a police officer and they being ran up on, they might feel nervous, even if they are not guilty. That also needs to be understood by the police. Just because somebody's jumpy, nervous, and scared and are going into fight or flight, that's a natural human response. That's a natural response for anybody in anything in the animal kingdom. They got that fight or flight response when that adrenal glands start pumping, and shit gets, I don't know what's going to happen. These people have guns and badges. I don't give a fuck if they have the authority of the state. I don't care if they're sanctioned by. Come on, they're still human beings. They might be having a bad day. They might take it out on me. I mean, I'm just saying, man.
To make a mistake. But I want you guys to know this, and I'm not making it to disparage anybody, but you need to know the truth. These young brothers out here ain't gonna get smoked by the cops if they normal, if they're doing what's right, they're not resisting arrest. And even with all that he did, if he wouldn't have
that's the biggest lie. That is the biggest lie that he just said. That's the biggest lie. We know that. We know plenty of innocent people. Plenty of people that comply or don't have a criminal past have been murdered by the police. Point blank, period. It's happened. Come on, man. This is a lie.
Still be alive.
That is a lie. Daniel Schaefer.
He dropped out of high school. He got a kid. He ain't even 20. He dropped out of high school selling drugs. Doing drugs, which is marijuana is a drug. Got money, flashing guns, robbing people with a 2-year-old daughter. He don't care about his daughter as much as
that does not give you a death sentence. And you hear me just said that he don't care about his daughter. How do you know that? How do you know what's in his heart? Because he's smoking a blunt and carrying a gun? So anybody who drinks, smokes, and carries a gun don't care about their kids? Where are we getting that information from? How do you know he don't care about his daughter? Come on, man.
They try to act like he was a loving father. No, he wasn't. He was trying to go to prison and leave his daughter by herself. How was he a loving father when he can't take responsibility for his actions to not put himself in a position?
You can be a loving father and get yourself in trouble, right? The kid is 20 years old. 20 years old. He's still young. He's still growing. You can love your child and do bad things at the same time, or do things that are frowned upon by society. Right? You can still love your child. It's not impossible. It's very possible. Man, come on, man. Come on.
To be in prison instead of being there for his daughter. How was he a loving father? Stop lying on these young men and start telling them the truth so we can.
So it's a lie that he was a loving father? No, it's a lie that you would say that he's not a loving father when you don't know jack shit. Have you talked to his daughter? Have you talked to the child's mother? Have you talked to anybody to know whether or not he loved his child? Or are you just saying that because you saw him with a blunt and he's not listening to Kirk Franklin? That's where you got that from? Please present some evidence present some evidence for this idea that he doesn't love his children or child. Come on, man.
Fix it. Tell the truth. It was unfortunate that he died. That's a fact. The officer was wrong. That's a fact. He was wrong. That's another fact. And that we need to correct these young people who are living this gangster, thuggy lifestyle and resisting arrest and doing all this nefarious stuff.
It's always that. Stop resisting. Grow up righteously. No, don't worry about socioeconomic issues. Don't worry about environmental factors. None of that matters. You're supposed to grow up straight and narrow, just like that. Now, what else did he say?
And that we need to correct these young people who are living.
Okay, so let's say we correct the young people, which people are out there trying to do. Like I told you, my boy Mighty Mouse, and I know people are doing gang interventions right now in California that helped lower the crime rate, that helps get people out of this gang shit. He don't know that. If he knew that, he wouldn't be saying the shit he's saying right now. He would never say the shit that he's saying. You see, people come up to me when I do videos on him. He's doing this. He donated to this other 30, and he want to help. He put money. He donated money to people like King. What's his name? And the blah blah blah. Like, look, he is picking and choosing what parts of the society he wants to help. If but he keeps talking about the same shit. But if he was out there and he knew people that were out there trying to make changes, he would not say shit like this. He would not. He would understand that there's more avenues than jail and jail or hell for people that grow up like this. He would know that there's socioeconomic issues involved. He would know there's environmental factors. He would know that poverty plays a huge part in why people like this grow up the way they grow up. Because he would be out there in the thick of it. He wouldn't be able to avoid it. But either he knows or he's being intellectually dishonest to keep his base happy. And we know what his base is.
This gangster thuggy lifestyle and resisting arrest.
And what about correcting the police culture? What about that? What about their thuggy behavior? What about the police officers' reckless thuggy behavior? What about that? How do we correct that? How about we correct that too? How about we correct the relationship between the community and the police? No, we just need to, come on, man. Come on. Get real.
Various stuff. We need to address that so we don't have more young men getting killed out here because they can't act right. They can't do right. And they mom and them are.
What about getting the police to act right and do right? You see, to him, the police can do no wrong. And that's how you know this dude has no ounce of objectivity in regards to dealing with police culture in this country. It's all on the people that interact with the police, not the trained individuals that are the police, but the untrained civilians, the untrained citizens that have to deal with the police on a day-to-day basis, where they're not. What are you talking about? The onus is on the people that the police encounter only. What about the innocent person that's not guilty of anything that ends up getting killed by the police because the police are being reckless and thuggish?
And are facilitating this. When you get on television acting like your son was Jesus Christ, and you know he had problems, you know he was struggling.
So either you're Jesus Christ, or you're a thuggish, ruggish. You Bone Thugs and Harmony, right? Either you Jesus Christ or you Bone Thugs and Harmony. There's no in between. She can't just love her child and have this. Come on, oh my God.
Was selling whatever. I don't know if he was selling drugs. He was using drugs, drinking Hennessy. He's not even 21 years old.
Again, he mentions that he was using drugs. He don't know, not even knowing what he was smoking, just assuming. There he goes again.
How you drinking Hennessy and you 20? You're drinking underage on camera on Facebook.
He wasn't drinking underage. He was holding the bottle. He was holding the bottle. From what he showed, I didn't see him drinking anything. He was holding the bottle. He could have been fronting for the gram.
How is these things occurring and we just let it go? George Floyd, if he had not been high on drugs and resisting arrest, he was just sat in the back of the police car, he would be.
You hear this argument?
Well, if he hadn't gave that $20 bill, if he would have stayed in the car.
If he wasn't born, maybe he wouldn't have died. If Derek Chauvin was sick that day, George Floyd come on. The fact of the matter is this: with George Floyd, Derek Chauvin sat on this man's neck for 9 minutes and George Floyd wasn't doing shit. Was not resisting, was subdued, then fell unconscious, heart stopped, and he continued to press his knee on his fucking neck.
But if he wasn't on drugs, if he hadn't, oh my God, if he hadn't done this, that, and the third.
Come on, man. Miss me with that.
Eric Garner, if he would have said, okay,
I
I didn't do nothing, but I'm going to be arrested and I'll get out after the 48th.
So that Eric Gardner, he was, hold on.
Arrest he had.
48th arrest, but he's still on the street. If those 48 arrests were so bad, why isn't he under the jail right now? If Eric Gardner had committed 48 crimes that were so horrible, if he was arrested 48 times, that's a lot of times for a man that was his age. That probably means that it was a lot of bullshit motherfucking arrests. Being arrested does not mean that you convicted. If he was arrested 48 times, it must have been some penny ante shit. But regardless, just be arrested and he wasn't doing anything. When people are coming up to you, putting their hands on you and trying to detain you and accost you, you might not want that. You're as a free individual, the cops should not be able to just run up on you and start fucking harassing you because they see you selling single cigarettes. Who gives a shit? Come on, man.
If Eric Gardner had been arrested 48 times.
Oh my God, dude. Ugh. This is ridiculous. These arguments are absolutely asinine. They can't stick to the facts. Because look, the facts of Eric Gardner is, dude had him in a chokehold for too long, killed the man. Eric Gardner was like this. He wasn't fighting him. Yeah, he didn't want to get fucking arrested and have people manhandle him.
Hey, I'm just going to get arrested. I didn't do nothing, but I'm not going to fight these officers. Because what if they tase me? What if they shoot me? What if I'm fat? I'm overweight. I could die at any moment. I'm a ticking time bomb. I ain't no way in the world I could resist arrest from police officers and live. But he did anyway. He would be alive if he wouldn't have resisted arrest. Walter Scott getting shot in the back. He would be alive today if he hadn't fought the police officer and ended up fighting a dirty police officer who then subsequently killed him. He would be alive today. Tamir Rice.
This is the thing. Oh, here goes Tamir Rice.
Be alive today if he wasn't pointing a realistic gun, took off the orange tip, pointing a gun and chasing people in the parking lot. And when the cops pull up, instead of him just putting his hands up or staying where he's at, he walks up to the cops and reach for the gun in his waistband to pull it out on the cops.
Now look, he pulled up, he reached in his waistband. How did he know what he was gonna do after that? See, this dude, he must be Nostradamus. He knew for a fact Tamir Rice was about to point that gun at the officer. It could have been that he was probably going to drop it on the ground. We don't know what he was going to do with it. And also, when they told the police, the people that called, that they believed there was a toy gun. Okay? Let's get that straight. And also, if you believe that this dude, if you believe anybody has a firearm and you pulling up on them, you're going to pull right up next to them? Right up next to them. They have a firearm in your mind. You're really afraid that they might have a firearm. You pull up. Are you supposed to pull up right next to them, hop out, and bang, bang like that? Or are you supposed to be off at a distance, open your door, make sure you have a good amount of distance, call for backup, surround them, and try to de-escalate the situation? Is that what's supposed to happen? Or are you supposed to run up on somebody right next to them when they can pull out and start shooting? Dude, come on, man. What do you think? We think we stupid? No, that's not how it works. If you think somebody has a gun, if you thought somebody had a gun and they stand in your front yard and they're waving it around, you do want to defend your home. You're gonna pull up right next to them. You're gonna run through the gate, pull up right next to them, and hope they don't shoot you until you get out and shoot them. Or are you gonna go off to a safe distance or around the corner and try to sneak up on them? What are you gonna do? Come on, man. We ain't stupid.
He would still be alive today. Laquan McDonald, unjustifiably shot 12 times by a police officer. If he wasn't high on PCP, running around with a knife in his hand, threatening people's lives, threatening police officers' lives, and at the time he wasn't a threat enough to get shot, that officer was wrong, he got charged. But if Laquan wasn't doing all that, he would be alive today. I don't
But he
understand.
did all that. The officer was wrong. Point blank and period. The officer was wrong. He was charged, and that should have happened. Regardless of what he did, regardless of him threatening, every time, you know how many times I've been threatened? So you telling me that every time I get threatened, I should kill somebody? No, it doesn't work like that. Because that, in that case, if I were able to kill somebody every time I got threatened, if I was justified in that, which he wasn't, which he acknowledged, why are we using that? I can't say, oh, the amazing idiot Lucas threatened my children and threatened me 3 months ago, so when I see him tomorrow, I'm gonna shoot him in the back of the head. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. If the idiot Lucas is not an immediate threat to me, and I harm him in some way, and he wants to press charges, if I kill him, I go to jail. That's how it works. That's how it works. Even if he threatened me 3, 4, 5 months ago, even if he threatened me 2 minutes ago, and you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, it doesn't matter what he did prior to the actual events surrounding the immediate situation. What happens, what matters is how the officer handles it and how the officer is held responsible for it. That's what we want. We want the officer to be held responsible so that it changes the behavior in police culture, so that less of these incidents happen. That's the point.
People think that you're supposed to be threatening the lives of police officers and threatening the lives of the public, and the police are supposed to be perfect every time and never make a mistake or never shoot you. And it's like,
It's these extremes that are
in a
ridiculous.
position that they can't train for.
Listen, y'all get the gist. I got to get out of here. I got to use the bathroom really bad. But anyway, y'all get it. Like, share, subscribe. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. If you, listen, some of you guys can defend the Officer Tatum, and that's fine. As long as you have a cool, and it doesn't even have to be a logical argument. As long as it pertains to that. I mean, I believe in the First Amendment. I believe in the freedom of speech. And you can say whatever the hell you want on my comment section. But, I would like, it would be very engaging if you said something that made sense, something that we could go back and forth and have a dialogue on. Not, oh, you're an idiot, and then that's it. Like, that's fine. But that just shows how dumb you are. Because the only thing you have to say about it is, you're an idiot. And that's not a real argument. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. And I'll get up with y'all later. Let's keep marching forward toward freedom, okay? People, peace.